All right. Hey, everybody. We want to welcome you to our first episode of Grace and Grit. This is your girl, Francine, and I am so excited because I am here with the Fox. And I think I'm going to call this one, Donna, Francine and the Fox.
Okay.
Can we do that?
We can do that.
And I
Francine
am
the
so
Fox.
excited to have her here. And um, off the air, she was asking me about the broadcast, where it came from, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, just my everyday life and things that happen. And I want to talk about it. And hopefully, in talking about it, we can help some people. So, Donna, thank you again for taking time out of your very, very, very busy schedule to join me today on Grace and Grit. That's what it's
Thank you for
called.
having me.
I really appreciate it. So, today's topic is an interesting one, and like I said, it came from just things in my own life and things that have been happening. And sometimes we say to ourselves, "Am I being punked?" And I tend to say that a lot. Am I being punked?
Yes.
And for this one in particular, I made the statement, I made the comment. Just because you can does not mean that you should. Just because you can, we're all adults. We don't need to get permission. But I think sometimes we forget that things we do either A, have a repercussion, some type of a consequence, or are we thinking about the person, other people who are involved or who may be involved, just taking it beyond ourselves. So, Donna, as my guest today, what has been your experience with just because a person can, does that mean that they should?
So when you sent this topic to me, immediately the first thing that popped in my head is my current dating status.
Oh, no.
And you might say, but Donna, you talk about your dating status all the time. I
Mm-hmm.
do. I talk about it all the time because I believe that my words have power.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore,
Mm-hmm.
I talk about it always in a positive manner. You always hear me talking about my husband, and I'm getting ready for my husband, and I'm evolving for my husband, and this, that, and the other. So that's why you hear me talk about it a lot. But this immediately took me to my current dating status, which is single. And so in this stage of singleness, this is the first time, honestly, as an adult, I've ever been single in my life, and I've been single going on almost 4 years now. And so when I think about just because you can't doesn't mean you should.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I'm single and there are men that show an interest in me does not mean that I should date them
Uh-oh.
or I should talk to them or I should allow them to take up real estate in my brain.
Right.
Okay? The men that show interest in me are good men
Mm-hmm.
in their own individual rights. But they are not necessarily a good man for me. And
Okay.
God shows me he's not for you. He's
Mm-hmm.
not for you for eternity. He might be for you for this minute or there's a
Right.
lesson to be learned, but he's not for you for eternity. And he's
Mm-hmm.
making that very clear for me. And so for me, the old me, because she was lacking so much self-confidence and she was just dying for attention and she had daddy issues,
Mm-hmm.
any man that would have shown her any type of attention, she would have latched on to them. The person that I am now,
Mm-hmm.
I need you to show me that you are serious about me,
Mm-hmm.
you have a purpose for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to know that this is God ordained for me.
Right.
Because I have more days behind me than ahead of me. I don't got time to play games. I'm not going to be your girlfriend for 20 years. We're not going to be life partners for 15 years after that. I want to be a wife. So I'm not out here. I'm not trying to be your friends with benefits. I'm not trying to be your girlfriend. I'm not trying to be your old lady forever. I want to be somebody's wife. And so with that being said, I say to myself, just because these men show interest in me and they're good men doesn't necessarily mean that I should connect with them, date them, or anything, or be attached to them, because that's not what is for my life right now. And I had to realize that there is a purpose for everybody in your life, and everybody's not meant to be in your life, and because somebody isn't in your life, or a man no longer wants to talk to you or whatever, does not mean that you are a bad person, or you're not a person that's not ready for a relationship. It just means you two are not good together. He's still a good person. I'm still a good person. And so we as women, sister to sister, y'all stop this thirst trapping stuff. Stop. I know. There's more men than there are women. Baby, you have to have an abundance mindset. Do you know what an abundance mindset is, Francine?
Yeah, I can pretty much take that word and break it down and tell you, yeah.
Yes. You have to have an
That
abundance
there's
mindset.
no lack out there, and
There,
that he's out
exactly.
there somewhere for you, and
Yes.
you don't need to be thirsty trying to get a man.
Exactly. There is more than enough. You don't ever have to worry about somebody
Desperate.
getting more than you.
Yeah.
There is enough in the world for you. There is a man out there for you. You don't have to be a thirst trap. You don't have to date somebody's boyfriend. You don't have to fool with somebody's husband. Your person is out there. Your job is to evolve, be better, be patient, be ready. That's my job right now. Evolve, be patient, be better, be ready. And when the time comes, when my person steps into the line, into the spotlight, and shows himself to be that person for me, I'm gonna be ready. I tell y'all all the time, my husband, he about to get the best version of Donna. The best version of Donna. But it's because, just because I can, doesn't mean that I should.
You know I'm loving that. So
Date
we're gonna
you.
recap that. So just because, people, you can date, you're grown, you're adult, you can make your own decisions. Just because you have all of these allowances, you have permissions to date, does not mean that you should. Exactly. But let me tell you, I am a firm believer in that, because Donna, I'm pretty sure that we can agree that we've seen plenty of people that don't need to be dating anyway.
Yes.
That they need to go somewhere and get some healing and take care of self. And I want to say, I think you and I talked about this before, but I don't remember. But I have shared, and I share with many people, that I actually do not, DONOT, do not believe in just dating. I don't even believe that.
Okay.
I believe that when someone approaches you, etc., that it should be a process of prayer, of discernment, before you even take some steps, because you don't want to get in the trap, and I see people do it all the time. They date this person, date that person, and I've said to plenty of people, it's not a good idea. And I said, and since we're taking it on like this spiritual journey, I'm just going to go with it. I said, and then I say, God does not want us on this emotional roller coaster. A part of the dating this person to see, dating that person to see, what's going to happen, and I got to get to know you. No, not really. Because he can tell you in the beginning, like you just said, that's not the person for you or not. But Donna, I really believe that people do not want to ask. They don't want to ask.
They don't want to know. They don't want to hear the truth.
Because they don't want to know what that answer might be, especially if it's not coinciding with what they want.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, and then I'm laughing to myself because now I'm like, we listen.
And we don't judge.
But we don't judge. We listen, but we don't judge. So, just because you can, in this case, date, does not mean that you should. So, Donna, give the people, I love the nuggets you just gave. So, let's give the people some help. Let's give them 3 nuggets based upon what you just talked about.
Oh, okay.
To help them out.
Okay. So I've told you guys, this is my first time ever being single in my adult life. From the age of 25 until now, I've been in 3 long-term relationships. This is the longest I've ever been by myself. This is the first time I've ever really took time to get to know myself, really think about like what I want in my next relationship, think about the person who I want to be. And so I would say the first nugget that I want to give people is, people always tell you like, oh, when you break up with someone, you should take a break and just like be by yourself. And I never like to hear that advice. I never like to hear that. Oh, I'm a relationship girl. I function best in relationships. I took this time for myself to really, really not just sit and like heal in my brain. Like
Right.
I did the work. I researched about my attachment type. I researched about women with daddy issues and how do you heal that. I did the work. Like I said to myself, in those 3 relationships, they did not work out. But who is the common denominator? What is the common denominator in those 3 relationships? The old me would have been like, oh, they all cheated. The evolved me said, Donna, you are the common denominator in all 3 of those relationships. And so with that, I then started looking inward and said, okay, these men cheated, but what were you doing in the relationship? You were not the best version of yourself. You were not a good partner to them. And we all know men cheat when they are missing things at home. That's why they cheat. So I had to look at
one reason.
So I had to look at myself and say, like, what was I lacking in a mate? And I come from a 2-parent household, but it was not a secure and a positive marriage. So I have no background in what a healthy relationship looks like. And the behaviors that I saw my parents do is what I brought into those 3 relationships, which was a bossy, know-it-all woman that was very independent, overly independent, always pushed against leadership and rules and all of that type of stuff because I felt like, I know it all, but that's how I saw my mother behave in her marriage.
So the first nugget for them, I just want to make sure I capture that, is
take time for yourself.
So take the time
for yourself and
to
not
get to know
yourself.
You.
But not one of those like, I'm just going to sit and chill for me. Like actively do the work. Figure out what your baggage is. What you did wrong in the relationship. Don't focus on the fact that he cheated or he lied or he had a baby on you or whatever. Focus on what you did wrong and how you're going to fix it for the next person. That's the first.
All right. Next nugget would be?
The next nugget is change your mindset on relationships.
Okay.
A lot of times, and I learned this through my therapist, everything that you do in relationships and how you treat people comes from your childhood, whether you realize it or not. Every negative behavior, negative attitude, negative perspective that you have, you can trace it back to an incident in your childhood that colored your perspective or perception on that topic for the rest of your life, whether you realize it or not. And so you need to go back and figure out where all of these negative behaviors and negative mindset about relationships comes from. And you need to figure out how to reprogram your mind. Because if you're going to go into the next relationship as a different person, you also have to have a different mindset.
Okay.
Because,
and then our third nugget, because we're getting close to wrapping up this part of the show.
And then my third nugget is be open. Be open. You know what you did in the past, the type of men you dated in the past, what you were normally attracted to, what caused you heartache. Do something different. Date someone different. Date someone that you normally would not be interested in. Date someone that you have said to yourself like, that's not me. Just date. Just talk to them. Not even date them. Just talk to them. Befriend them. You would be surprised. Because in this stage of my life, while I'm not dating, like physically going out on dates, I have met some amazing men. I have met some outstanding men. They're not for me, but they are outstanding men. And I've met them because I'm not just focused on, I want 6 foot tall and a 6-pack and da-da-da. No. Whatever God puts in front of me, I'm open and I'm receptive. So be open to things outside of what you would normally do.
Awesome. What is the grace and what is the grit that you want to share before we get ready to go?
My grace is, I would say, giving myself grace. I have given myself so much grace in these last 3 years that I've never given myself in my entire life. Giving myself grace, like, it's okay. Like, you're not less than because you're single. Like, you a good person. You're a good person. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just not your time to be in a relationship.
Right. So people, give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. And what is the grit?
The grit? Oh, Francine, I'll be honest with you. This is a transparency moment, y'all, because I'm struggling with this. So y'all know, as much as I do want to be in a relationship and be married, this is how I know manifestation works. I am not kidding you, Francine. Since January 1, I cannot tell you how many of my friends have popped out in relationships. And they are my friends, and I love them, and I'm happy for them because they've been single longer than I have.
Okay.
But baby, I'd be like, when is it gonna be my turn? Everybody getting a boyfriend and a husband and a fiance, but me. Why?
So the grit is the waiting?
Yes, struggling with my status while seeing everybody around me get what I want and fighting back the negative talk, and like a little bit of jealousy.
And I'm going to end it right there because that's going to be a cliffhanger. I want to say thank you again to my guest, Miss Donna Weston. This is The Grace and the Grit with your girl Francine, and we're going to come back with a part 2. I wanted to leave you hanging with that. Come back so we can talk about this cliffhanger of how she's feeling, why she's feeling that way, so that we can work through that. All right. So you guys hang tight, and we will catch you on the next show.